There we go. So, sitting in Sukhasana or Swastikasana, simple cross legs, taking the appropriate height so that your legs are able to rest down, roll the inner thighs down and pull the buttock flesh diagonally out and back so that you sit equally on both the left and right buttock bones and that both the legs are resting down. So if the legs are lifting, remember you take more height, and if there's a gap between the feet and your knees, especially as we're working on opening the hips, you will support, not lift, but support that the legs have the feeling of letting go, settling, and resting down. Take your fingertips to the side for a moment as you lift the trunk from the back body and the side body, widen across the collarbones, widen across the shoulder blades of the upper back so that you create width in the front and the back of your body, and then drawing the shoulder blades in towards your chest without allowing the lumbar spine to come forward. So creating conscious adjustments that you don't pay the price with one part of the body to move another part. That you make sure that the root of your actions are from where you want them to be. Then keep this lifted structure in the trunk, relaxing of the legs, and take your hands into Namaskarasana. As you close the top lids deeply over the lower lids, let your eyes draw towards the back of your head, where you begin to observe yourself from inside. Slow, soft, deep, peaceful inhalations. Slow, soft, deep, peaceful exhalations. Any outside noises, background noises, only remind you to direct your senses of perception deeper and deeper inwards. Keep your legs resting down, and the outer walls of the pelvis, draw them gently inwards and lift the inner walls of the pelvis to lift the trunk away from the legs. Lift the inner walls of the rib cage. Lift and spread the sternum from inside. Relax your face. Relax your jaw. Relax the space between your eyes. And relax your brain. And coming to the connection between your hands, use that connection to stabilize your posture, to stabilize the state of quietness within. And we'll chant Om 3 times together. Relax again your shoulders, lift your sternum. Relax your face, relax your brain. And have the intention to put yourself in an optimal state for learning, not just from an intellectual mind point of view, but from the body, from the cells of the body, an embodied learning. So that even when you try and think of what we did, you may not remember, but when you get onto your mat, and you start to do the asanas, then it comes back to you from inside, from the deeper level of the cellular memory. With your next exhalation, releasing your chin to your top chest, surrender the brain to the seat of your heart. And we offer our thanks, our gratitude to the masters of yoga, from Patanjali to our Guruji B.K. Iyengar, to thank them for the teachings that allow us this day's practice and learning. Release the back of your hands to your thighs. Inhale, slowly lift your head. Quietly let your eyes open towards the floor in front of you. Good. Okay, so today we get to do some of my favorite work, which is hip openings. Those of you who know me know that I think that they are amazing, almost miraculous. So it's like one of those things that sound too good to be true, but actually does work. In that for almost anything going wrong, hip openings, the Supta Padangusthasana cycles help. So we spoke last week about the knees, and I said that this week we were going to do the hip opening as a follow-on to address knee issues. But it can also be for lower back, for neck and shoulder, for general tightness of the body, and to make all the other poses more accessible, because the hips are the root for 99% of the asanas that we do. Can you hear me, everyone? I'm back. Yes. Sorry about that. Flip all this technology stuff. After that exciting, intro that hip openings are the best thing ever, then I suddenly disappear. So let's get going. As I was saying, these may appear to be, but they are not leg stretches, they are hip openings, and we're using the legs as levers to work the hips. So it's very important to understand that how far you go into the pose is not the most important thing. What's important is making sure that you're getting the actions from the hips themselves. So, come and lie flat on your backs. And tailbone buttocks away and relax your body for a moment. So these moments of letting go in between the poses are important because we're starting to shift tension, we release fatigue, release tension, and we don't want it to settle back into the body. We want to let it go as we shift it from the hips. So let's start with Ekapada Supta Pavana Muktasana. Right leg is bending, left leg is stretched. So when we take the knee towards us, if we are doing it without thinking much and just wanting to take the knee close, there can be this shortening in the waist. So we are not wanting to create the movement from the waist, but from the hip, which means that the right buttock moves away, the right outer hip moves away. That if you were to measure the length of the right side of your body and the left side, you're trying to create equal length. So the top thigh starts to come towards you from inside the hip, from that releasing and opening in your hip. The leg on the floor is what we call the brain of the pose. So that leg is not supposed to be flopping, bending. The leg is fully extended, rolling inwards and pressing down. So I'll change legs so that you can see this leg here is not releasing outwards, but it has this inner rotation, extension, and pressing to the floor. And then you're going to change legs also, so bending your left leg, stretching your right leg, Ekapada Supta Pavana Muktasana. Feel that both hips, both of the top buttocks are equally on the floor. So I'm changing legs sometimes just to show the side I'm talking to you, stay on that side. Sometimes as we take this out hip back and down, which is correct, we end up collapsing a little bit onto the side of the bent leg. So can you keep the weight on both sides equally? Your foot of your bent leg is relaxed. The foot of the extended leg is active and alive. And how you stretch your inner leg away from you. Stretch into the inner heel, the ball of the big toe. And release for a moment. So just a reminder of the position of the foot. So often what we want to do is the outer leg is long and we stretch the outer leg and we let the outer foot go away. When in fact it should be the inner foot stretching away. So the foot is alive, it's not hard, it's not rigid, but how much can you stretch it? Of course, there's a firmness in the foot, but understand the difference between firm and rigid, so that your inner leg wants to become longer than the outer leg. It can never become longer, but at least that's the idea. And then it's like you create a circuit in your leg, inner leg away, outer leg towards you. All right, so now that leg that's on the floor stays with the circuit, with this action in your foot. You're going to take your belt for Supta Paramishtasana 1. So make your belt that it's a double loop so that you can hold in the loop. So your hands can even thread through. I like to hold, it's okay to hold in the loops like this, but I like to thread my hands through because I feel that then there's less having to hold with the hands and then less tension in the shoulder. Now, you're coming towards 90 degrees. If your legs are tight and you're bending, rather take the leg a little bit further away. What's important is that you have that action coming from the hip, so that outer right hip back and down, right buttock bone away, left leg stretched, and resisting with your front thigh, you'll bring your leg towards 90 degrees. For the first one, your belt is on the heel. Not so much that it feels like the belt is going to slip off, but enough that you feel the connection between the heel bone and the head of the femur bone, that part of the thigh bone that comes into the hip socket. So as you push up into your heel, you pull down into the hip socket with the head of the femur bone. And that drawing of the hip back, resisting with the front thigh, while keeping the brain of the pose, the leg on the floor active. Careful not to lift the lumbar from the floor. Keep the lumbar lengthening along the floor. And now make sure that you are breathing. If you don't breathe, then a lot of the suffering that you sometimes feel, of that intensity of stretching, especially when you're tight, is almost for nothing, because you have to breathe to let go of that tension. So remember, the work takes you to where you need to let go. The letting go is, to a large part, what creates that evolution and opening of the body. and change sides. Take the belt over the left heel. So Bianca, anybody who's watching this who's pregnant, you can do these poses standing, which we're all going to do again just now. So you'll see more how to do if you can't do it lying flat on the floor for any reason. So leg on the floor. This leg is furthest away from us, so it's the one that is least likely to have our consciousness and which we have to be most aware of putting our consciousness in. So if you're not sure why I'm stressing so much that this bottom leg has to be stretched, bend it for a moment and see how the whole pose shifts to the lumbar band. Now stretch the leg again and feel how it comes back to being in the pelvic band. So what did I say these poses are for? They are hip openings. Stretch the tailbone buttocks away if you need to. So if this leg isn't stretched, it doesn't actually matter how close the top leg is coming towards you. You're not working from where we want to work. So understand why it is that in Iyengar yoga we sometimes see so pedantic about certain things. Okay. So, and I'm not saying that you'll never bend the legs. Sometimes you may, to create a little bit of softness, to create a different kind of awareness. But in general, if you want to open the hips in Supta Padangusthasana, it's the leg on the floor that is creating the first element that we are looking for. Okay, and release. Now, if you are at 90 degrees, then we can change the position of the belt and go further. If you're less than 90 degrees, or you can just manage it, stay. So why are we placing the belt here? Because we're working the alignment of the bones, we're working the skeletal structure, which is very important, so the correct alignment before trying to go deeper and deeper with the muscles. However, to go deeper and get more opening, we can go and make our loop on the foot, stretch your arms over your head. When we go to the deeper positioning and the more muscular stretch, we don't lose the awareness of that outer hip back and down, buttock away, length of the back of the body. So I like to loop the belt around my thumb and then hook with the other thumb. And then as my body opens, a little closer, as you can see, I change the thumb. So it's like I'm eating the belt with my hands little by little. Keep breathing. Now watch the resistance of the front thigh. It's as if the front of your leg doesn't want to come towards you. Your leg is releasing from inside your hip and the back of your leg. Release and change sides. So the buckle is at that outer foot, so that when you pull the belt, you're pulling the outer foot towards you. So that movement of the foot that I was showing earlier gets created. However, sometimes when you pull, it pulls tight. So you have to keep your foot spreading so that you don't feel the foot becoming squashed by the belt. So outer hip back and down, leg on the floor fully extended, and then little by little as the body opens. So you're not aggressing, you're not forcing, you can go deeper into Supta Padangusthasana 1 with the awareness of the leg on the floor. Both legs fully extended, hips are compact. Both sides of the back of the buttocks equally to the floor, both sides of the back waist equally to the floor and equally long. And release. Okay. lateral Supta Padangusthasana. So now we're going to do it first as the simplest way to do it without taking the belt underneath the back. Have your big loop and you turn your belt as if you're creating a figure of 8 to double your loop. So big loop, twist it so you're crossing it in the middle and you have your loop. Now for some, the elbow will be able to reach the floor easily. For others, not so easy. So for this way of doing lateral Supta Padangusthasana, the elbow coming to the floor creates a bit of a scaffold so that you can push away from the side that your leg is going towards, that you don't collapse. So I'll show. So I'll put the belt again over my heel, taking my hand through. Now I'm taking, for the first one, I'm taking my left leg slightly out to the left. That's also going to help me not to just collapse. This is incorrect action. So I want to keep my back of my pelvis equally on the floor. I'm extending the inner leg, but I'm moving from inside the hips, not from outside of the body. Okay? Now, if my elbow doesn't reach the floor, all I have to do is take some kind of support and lift the floor so that I keep the outer left hip, now with my right leg to the side, to the floor. Edges of my waist long. So the other thing that happens is we want to curl in and shorten the side. Keep the right edge of the waist long. And of course, breathe. Now, it's clear that we're opening the front of the pelvis, but can you also be aware of keeping the width across the back? So the right buttock bone should not be collapsing into the floor. Lift the right buttock bone up to the ceiling as you extend the inner right leg out. Another thing that sometimes goes wrong is that the toes want to turn towards the floor. Keep the outer edge of the right foot parallel to the floor and breathe. Keep your leg light by keeping the extension. If it's bending and stretching, it becomes heavy. Then to come up, charge your leg, make it light. Use your breath, inhale, one light movement and stay here. When you come to this position, you stretch your leg a little bit towards you and then only release. So, why are we doing that? I'm going to show you standing so that you get an idea of what's happening in the back. So, sometimes to take the leg back, there's an inadvertent closing across the sacrum, sacroiliac, and lower back. It's not supposed to happen. I explained that, of course, there's width across the front, but that you need to have width across the back as well. So when you lift, when I say you lift the leg and take it out to the side, imagine that you've seen the view from if I was lying on the floor. That right buttock should not be dropping into the floor. You're bringing it into the body and keeping the width on either side. Now, in the process of learning and doing, we don't always do perfectly. So this coming back to the center and taking your leg towards you is releasing any inadvertent not doing the pose perfectly. Okay, so never be in such a hurry to go to the other side that you miss that step. All right, now the other side. I'll do it from an angle that you get to see a different angle. It's facing this way. So belt over the left heel, right foot slightly out to the right. This keeps the width across the pelvis and widens your balance so that you're less likely to collapse, that you can keep that out hip to the floor. And as you exhale and extend the leg out, you're drawing the buttock up, the left buttock up to the ceiling. Outer edge of the left foot parallel to the floor. Use your little bit of a scaffold support if you need. Once your elbow makes contact with something, you can push the elbow to turn the hips, to turn the chest back to the opposite side that your leg is moving out to. So right now it's the right that we have to bring the weight towards, because if we just let go, we will collapse to the left. So there's a clear understanding that we have to balance the weight across the body. Keeping the hand, right hand on the right hip, also gives us that awareness of not just collapsing in the hips. Breathe, relax your jaw, your eyes, your brain. Stretch both legs deeply, and then inhale, come to the center. Stretch your leg towards you for a moment, and then release. Good. So for today, we won't do the other positioning of the belt. We're going to repeat again that same position, and I'm going to come and have a look and see how we're doing. So again on the right side. So some of you, I can see you partially. When you set yourselves up for the classes, try and make it that I can see your whole mat, preferably from the same way that you're able to see me. Okay, so when you're ready, belt is over the right heel. That's the arch of your foot, Tracy, not your heel. Left leg is diagonally out to the left. And then slowly take your left leg to the side, drawing the sorry, I said left, right buttock. Didi, you just collapse there. Keep the control all the way down. Watch the leg that's on the floor. That's the brain of the pose. Stretch your heel, Dina, away of the left leg. Le talon gauche. Allez, étirez. That's it. Good. Tracy, I don't care how low your leg goes, but I do want to see that it's stretching. Charge your leg. Make it light. That I didn't say come up. I just said make it light. So that you're not hanging in the pose. Okay? And not holding it with your jaw, with your throat, but with that extension in the leg that makes the leg light. Then preparing yourself to come up. Inhale in one fluid, light movement, come to the center. Stretch your leg for a moment and then release. And just come and sit up and look for a moment before we do the other side. Okay, so one thing that I want to show, I wish I could put my camera on top of me, but I'll show it standing for a moment. Just shift it, you can see higher up. All right, so what is the angle of your leg from your torso? As in, not how close does it go towards the floor, but if you would take your torso as one axis, what is the axis that your leg goes onto? Your leg goes to. So it depends. Okay, so classically, the leg is going to go in line with the shoulder. However, depending on your needs and your hips, you may want to take it wider. All right, so now, especially, for example, you're pregnant, if you have abdominal issues, if you're menstruating, if your hips are very tight, you're not going to go to that position. You're going to go to about 90 degrees. However, it doesn't help to go less. So some of you are sort of trying to take your leg close to the floor, but you've lost your angle. So at least the foot must be pulling a little bit up to the line of the shoulder. I hope I'm clear. Off you go, other side. So lie back down, going to the left now, which means that you place the right foot diagonally to the right. Stretch your leg. There's a resistance with the outer leg as you go down. So you're not just dropping. That's it. Good, Tracy. Go slowly. Leg on the floor is the brain of the pose. So that leg on the floor you create before you even go. That's it. Good. So right hand is on the right hip. Now, watch the back of your body. It's can you feel the connection between the right and the left side? Which side has more contact? Okay, so can you make sure that the right back waist is as much in contact with the floor as the left? Try not to wiggle around all the time. So yes, you might have to adjust and you want to keep stretching your legs and you want to evolve in the pose, but not too much wiggling. Charge your leg and inhale, come up with a light movement. Stretch your leg straight for a moment. Don't forget that phase. Okay. Let's sit up and we're going to do it a third time. Okay. Come and look. So we can do this in a standing position and lying down. So what does the floor give us that standing doesn't? Each variation gives us something different. The floor gives us a clear feedback of what's happening in the back of the body. Where are we distorting? Where are we twisting? Where are we lifting? Where we should be in contact with the floor. So we shouldn't waste this good opportunity of using the floor. So I'm going to show you, hopefully you can see clearly what some of you are doing. So as this leg is going out to the side, this waist, the opposite waist, that waist is lifting from the floor. So you might be trying to keep your hip down, but look at the space between my waist and the floor. So this side should not lose its contact. I'm lifting my arm just so that you're able to see. If I was to put my hand, I shouldn't be able to get it underneath my back. Some of you, Celine especially, there's a big gap. So one more time each side with that awareness that you are not moving from the lumbar. The lumbar is stable and you're moving from the hips. Off you go. One more time, each side. Lateral Supta Padangusthasana. So in Light-on Yoga, this is Supta Padangusthasana 3. Because we often do it second in sequencing, many people nowadays call it Supta Padangusthasana 2. Doesn't matter what you name it, as long as you're getting the correct action. Okay, so there's being pedantic for a good reason, and then there's things that aren't worth getting too worked up about. All right, stretch your legs, Nirosha. They're completely bending. I don't care how far down you go, but I want to see the correct actions happening. That's it, Celine. Don't let your stomach puff up away from the floor. Front waist to back waist. Back body connected to the floor. Good, Nirosha. That's it. Breathe. Okay. Alison, your toes are turning down to the floor. Keep the outer edge of your foot. No, they shouldn't. They are, but they shouldn't. Outer edge of your foot parallel to the floor. That's better, like that. Good. Relax your throat, relax your jaw. Keep that back body connected to the floor, especially the left back waist. C'est bien, Lina. Charlene, I can see your bed and nothing else. And then inhale, charge your leg, come up in one movement, and the other side. Stretch your leg when you come back up. Remember, coming back is so important. So don't be lazy to complete the pose. Other side. Before you can bend the leg that's on the floor to place the belt, if it makes it easier to reach, but before you take the leg laterally out to the side, the leg on the floor must be stretched. So you can bend the leg, say you're stiff and you need to bend it in order to be able to reach. See, I lost my little loop. Then you stretch the leg. Then it's the leg that is moving. So that this leg is in place before you move into the pose and not only afterwards. Off you go. Lateral Supta Padangusthasana. So if you are collapsing over to the side that your leg is going out to, which is now the left side, again, then your scaffold, your support under your elbow is going to help you. So off you go. You're going to the left, Nirosha. Oh, you're looking for something for underneath your elbow. Good. So never be shy to use a prop where it helps to create more of the correct action, more awareness. Bend your elbow, Nirosha, place it onto that support, bend it, that's it. Because then you can push the elbow to move the weight back to the right side. So, no lifting up, puffing of the abdomen as you go to the side. It's not lifting up. That's it. Bring the back waist to the floor, front waist to back waist. Breathe. Keep the outer edge of your foot parallel to the floor. And inhale, come up. Stretch your leg. And release. Okay. So we won't repeat that again, but I'll just take a moment now to explain why is this called Supta Padangusthasana. Supta means supine, lying on your back, and Padangushta is the big toe. So the classical pose we're doing, holding the big toe, all the different positions. But we're using the belt because if we don't have sufficient opening, to reach the big toe is not always possible. And even if we can, we may be cheating to get there. So mostly we use the belt unless there's quite a considerable amount of opening. Now, Supta Padangusthasana 2, according to Light on Yoga, definition of Supta Padangusthasana 2. You're going to lift the right leg because we want to have at least a right angle. So if we take the leg from low down, there's not enough angle between the shin and the thigh bone. So if you lift the leg up high, you can lift your head to take hold of the outside of your foot. For this one, I want you to thread your hand behind so that your elbow is pushing that inner thigh away, because again, it has to come from your hip. Now, some of you, with reaching here, your head may be falling back, in which case, you're going to take your blanket or a bolster or something for under your head so that the head can be passive. But make sure that you're getting the root of the action from the hips. And of course, very important is the leg on the floor. Okay, so Bianca, I'm going to show just now how you do standing for everybody else. But for Bianca, you use a table or something and you're going to do it standing, in a standing position. The rest of you are going to do it standing just now. Now, some of you also may struggle to keep the leg on the floor extended in this one, in which case you can take a little bit of a height. Okay, so you can see I've taken the brick for underneath my left heel so that there's no excuse to not extend the left leg. So you can have a blanket under your head, a brick underneath your heel, Supta Padangusthasana 2. I'm coming to see what's happening. That's it. Good. Relax your throat, relax your jaw. So, 3 things that I want you to be especially aware of. Your leg on the floor, Celine, Savol, it's flying. Press that thigh to the floor. I don't mind if you have something under your heel. Second thing, the alignment of your hips. Pull that outer right hip back and down. Outer right hip, back and down. And then lastly, I want you to think of angle and ankle. So what happens in pulling the foot towards us, we sometimes close the inner ankle space. Can you push the inner heel away, ball of the big toes away, as you did in your other 2 Supta Padangushthasanas. So although you may have a bend in the knee, the length of the inner leg hasn't become shortened, okay? Keep the back of your neck long, keep breathing, and release, and change sides. So there should be no pain in the knees, no pain in the lumbar, but you may feel a strong pulling in the outer hip in the buttock region. So off you go now to do the left side, Supta Padangusthasana 2. So showing from different angles so that you can see different parts of the pose. Keep stretching your leg on the floor. So off you go, you're doing the left side. What you're waiting for. So Nirosha, there's hardly any angle between your thigh and your shin. Lift it up higher. Maybe it's the angle, there we go. But now when you open that angle, don't lose the stretch in the leg on the floor. So, good. Okay, so we're not doing it one thing and losing another. How can we balance the different parts of the body? Okay, that's better with the leg on the floor, Celine. Good. Opening in the inner ankle, Tracy. That's it. Relax your throat, relax your jaw. Watch that inner ankle, Diddy. So you go through the different parts of the body. Good with your foot, Ali. Thank you. Stretch the leg on the floor. Out to hip back and down. Keep your angle. Céline, il n'y a pas assez d'angle entre le cuisse et le tibia. Thigh and shin are right angles to each other. And then watch that inner ankle of the bent leg foot. It's not closing. Keep breathing. Don't hold the pose with your jaw. That's it. Very nice, everybody. Little bit more that inner ankle peta, last few moments. And then when you're ready, slowly release. Good. Okay. So we are going to do it only once lying down. And we're going to go and do, in a moment, doing the preparation, which is called Godasana. So, as I said, each variation, each way of doing a certain movement gives you different benefits. So here, we're aware of that, what's happening with the hips, what's happening with the back, where the shoulders are. However, it takes quite a little bit of force to pull the leg towards us. So we're not letting go so much in this pose, especially if there's quite a lot of tightness. So we'll come round back to this shape in a moment. But before we get off the floor, we are lying with our backs on the floor, Supta position. We're going to do Supta Padangusthasana 4, which we don't do as often. You're going to have your double loop of your belt. Now your left hand is holding the belt that's over your right heel. Right thumb pulling the outer right hip back, full extension in both legs. Keep rolling the left thigh in, and now take the foot diagonally across. Now it's intense without moving far. Just a little bit, and you will feel a deep stretching. If the leg is bending, nothing is really going to be happening. So keep the direction of the buttocks, keep the front thigh resisting, not too big an angle. See that you can come to take the foot almost to the line of the shoulder. Of course, those with tight hips, you can give yourself a little bit more space, but its minimum is a right angle. Maybe a little bit less for those who have more opening. Inhale, come to the center, stretch your leg towards you and release. Now, what some of you may feel is that the inner groins are feeling painful in this pose. So it's a good opportunity when we do this to speak about how important the groins are to the opening of the hips. So my teacher often says that the hips are like the treasure chest of the body, but the groins are the keys to opening that treasure chest. So if we don't also bring in an element of understanding how to work the groins, it's like trying to open a locked door without the key, okay? So the groins, I'll just change my position, are that part that runs where the legs join into the pelvis. So we have all kinds of different descriptions for the groins, from the front groins, inner front groins, outer groins, back inner groins, back groins, so this whole band. So now when we take the leg across the body, that inner front groin can become hard. So we have to learn to deepen it, let it move inwards, and it has to soften to do that. If the groins are hard, you're not going to be able to bring them deeper into the body, which is where you need them to go in order to allow that movement. So we're going to do the left side, left leg coming across to the right, and I don't want you to be in a hurry to get into the final position. Feel that deepening of the front groin, softening it as you take your leg across. Your left thumb is in the outer left hip. Stretching your legs and now deepening the inner groins. The leg that's straight, also the inner groin is rolling down to the floor. And feel how as you soften, then that tightness, that discomfort in the groins goes away. And then come back to the center, stretch your leg towards you and release. So most active poses have an element of intensity of work and an element of surrender, letting go in the same moment. So we can practice that now with how we stretch the legs intensely, but soften and deepen the groins at the same time. So let's do it one more time, each side. Supta Parameshvasana 4. Right leg first, stretch your left leg away, roll the left thigh in, create that alignment in your hips, and then keeping that positioning of the hips, how you can take the leg across with that sense of the inner groins, front groins, softening and deep. Jaw relaxed, eyes relaxed, brain relaxed. Obviously, Bianca, you're not going across. You can repeat the lateral movement and change sides. So, first, don't be in a hurry to get to the final position. First, create the essential elements of alignment in the hips, action in the leg. Once that's there, maintaining that, then you can go into the pose. But if we just throw ourselves in, often we've lost what makes the asana the asana. Deep, soft groins, fully extended legs, quiet brain, quiet eyes. Inhale, come to the center, release your leg towards you for a moment, and let go. Good. All right. So, we'll come to Godasana at the end, because I want to show the standing variations, Utthita Hasta Padangushthasanas. So, we're going to do the same movements, but now in standing position. So, I have a table here. Okay. You could use so many different things. You could use a window ledge. You could use a bookshelf even. You can use the back of a sofa. You can use a bathroom counter, kitchen counter, table, so many things. Now, this table is a little bit low, so I can use my bolsters, or I can use phones, I can use books to get the height that I need, that it's more or less hip height. So, first variation, going forward, straight forward. So I have placed myself, sorry, I'm just going to get the angle that you can see me a bit more. Okay. So I'm placing myself that I am straight forward towards the table in front of me, or counter. Bookshelves are great. If you've got a very stable bookshelf, you have options of different levels, okay? So, hips are square, and the standing foot is facing straight forward. So I know you can't see my toes, but my toes are facing directly towards the table, and then I take up the right foot, right heel, stretching away, and place the belt around my heel. And now, what did the floor teach me? To be aware of this alignment. So I'm drawing that out to right hip back and down. And if I was on the floor, Both buttocks would be in equal contact. Both legs are strong, and then how I lift up my trunk away from the pelvis. So what is this variation giving me? It's giving me that grounding in my standing leg. So that leg that's the brain of the pose, I can push through my foot into the earth, roll the thigh in, and I can learn to work the trunk, the spine, away from the grounding of the legs. So sometimes we'll even have a rope with a weight hanging from the top thigh, keeping that out hip down, keeping the thigh pushing down, and now from inside how you can lift up and leg space. Shoulders back and down, and lift your chest through your arms. And release. And change sides. So, if you are past a certain stage in your pregnancy where lying flat on the floor is no longer comfortable, no longer what you should be doing, then this means that you can also do this variation. And if in the class you're doing both, like today, then repeating is never a bad thing, because each time you repeat, you get a little bit more. Now, watch those hips. Turn to face your foot. Check that you're standing foot. So you may have to lift the heel and shift the heel out in order to make sure that your foot is straight. Hips are compact. So what I mean by compact is that you have to imagine that the head of the femur bones, the thigh bone, that head that goes into the hip socket, is not out of the body, but is drawing in, okay? As if you had, sometimes we even tie a belt around the hips to get that compactness. The belt is on your heel. That's it, good. So I've seen some of you using your chairs, that's great. So whatever support you use, and then is fine as long as it's stable. Okay, release and come down for a moment. So, careful not to put too much of your leg on the support. You want to place it in a way that it's your heel. Okay, so my bolsters are a little bit soft. I'm just going to show if I was using, so you can see clearer here, that the heel has the most weight. If I put my leg too far on, I'm losing a little bit that ability to stretch into the heel. All right? Other side. So, something a little bit more firmer than the bolsters is even better. I'm bringing my foams for the second side. It's according to what I have, it's the better option. Okay. So, changing sides again. Second time, that's it, good. Now turn those hips, Tracy. Now remember that this is a hip opening. So tailbone is moving down, top buttocks down, and it's not happening from the lumbar. Keep that front waist to back waist and lengthen the lumbar, as if you were lengthening the lumbar along the floor. That's it, very nice, Didi, good. Don't do it from the lumbar spine. And then release. Good, Peter, with your foot. Okay, so before we do the last time on this second side, just have a look what I mean by the lumbar. So sometimes when we're trying to lift the chest, we're doing it by arching the lumbar and letting the buttocks lift. Top buttocks have to stay down, lumbar spine long, and chest lifts from the chest and the dorsal spine, not from the lumbar spine, okay? So some of you who know you have the tendency for the buttocks to lift, make sure that they stay down. Last time. Okay, so I know I said these classes would be about an hour. Obviously, we had a little bit of a technical issue at the beginning, but hopefully if you've got time, you can carry on with me. If you don't, I'll send you the recording. Okay, so now, Charlene, the heel of your standing foot, shift it out and roll that thigh in. So why is your foot on the floor? Why don't we just stay lying on the floor? Why do we move to this position so that you can ground through that standing leg? Suck the outer hips in and lift the trunk away. From inside, move your body, inner walls of the pelvis. So when we were sitting at the beginning of the class, I said how you suck in the outer walls of the pelvis, and from the inner walls of the pelvis, how you lift the trunk away from the legs. So can you continue with that awareness now? Don't look down, look slightly up so that your head doesn't create this weight in the front body, that you can pull up from inside and release. Good. Okay. Now, lateral position. So, I'm showing a little bit mirror image. You standing and taking your heel of your left foot onto your support. Sometimes you can even use the wall as well, then you won't need the support underneath you. But for today, so that we can hold it, that we are stable, and that really, this is not about balance. So yes, the classical pose is done in space. For example, this is the classical pose. But I want you to not worry about balance, but think more about what's happening from the hips, the positioning of the hips, the opening of the hips. I'm going to turn the other way. So, the same as when we were on the floor. I said that the buttock shouldn't be flying backwards. We have to bring it away from the lumbar and forward. So it doesn't matter whether we're on the floor, whether we're standing. In relation to your own body, the direction is away from the lumbar and forward to the front body. Hand on your hip, left hand on your hip. Your belt is over your right foot, Tracy, and stretch up the sides of your body. That's it, shoulder blades in. So now you have a wonderful balance between width-wise opening and length-wise opening. So can you create that extension, that opening in both the lengthwise and widthwise position? Good, Didi, very nice. Just a little bit more length in the back body. Better watch front waist to back waist. Don't hang with the middle back lumbar forward. And measure the length of your right waist. Is it as long as the left? And then release and change sides. So, of course, the side that your leg is lifting is going to naturally want to be a little bit shorter because that buttock wants to lift and you reaching the leg. So how do you bring the buttock down and lengthen the waist? Of course, you hold it. So that's, and again, that compactness in your hips. So now you have your left leg up. Watching that buttock bone is coming down and forward. In the leg stays extended, position of the foot, ball of the big toe, inner heel, and breathe. And then release. Okay, we're going to do that one once. However, when you practice yourself, remember that twice is at least 10 times effective as once. But so that we can get going on to the other parts. Now, Supta Padangusthasana 2, the one that we did that was this shape. I spoke about how there can be a bit of tension in trying to pull that leg towards you. The one where we do on the floor is fantastic, except it can be very intense for some people. So we're going to do the standing version now. So you're going to use your height that's appropriate for you, that you can rest. I'm actually move my table, and you can see a little bit of a different angle. Okay, so I'm resting, the shin bone is parallel to the length of my support. outer hip is back and down, standing leg is straight. And then keeping that awareness in the hips. So what wants to happen sometimes is that we want to fall out with the bent leg hip. How we can keep it in, keep the hips in line. The hips don't shift either way, and you can come forward and you can, lengthening the front of your body, come as far forward as your support allows you to. So more than thinking of rounding, think of lengthening. I'm also going to show from the side. You continue on this side, stay on the side that you are. So the hips are tight, you're pregnant, you can just work this in lifting up. So you don't have to go forward, because even this is creating a good opening in the hips. However, if you have the ability to go forward from the front body, not rounding the back, because now I've lost the connection with my hips, keeping that compact in the hips, extending forward. Standing leg is strong. Jaw relaxed, eyes relaxed, brain relaxed. And then slowly release. And change sides. So watch your angle, because it's easy to want to make this angle small. So the small angle, this is more like a Rajagopattasana position. We want the bigger angle of Supta Padangusthasana 2, and that positioning of the hips. Standing up straight is still creating a good movement in the hips, a good action in the hips. But if you can, you're coming forward without allowing the hips to sway from one side to the other. Now, the great thing about this, especially if you can rest with your elbows, is that now you can stay in the pose and let go. So you've created the structure, you've gone into it as deeply as you can, and now you can stay here without losing what you've created, and breathe and let go. So now there's not that having to pull your leg towards you. Plus, you can control the weight forward a little bit easier than you can when you're on the floor. Okay, and release. Now, Iyengar, if you're still here, you can repeat that standing, and the rest of you, we're going to do Godasana. So we last hip opening. Sorry, my camera just came out of its thing. Okay, so now you're going to come from dog pose. You'll have whatever support you need for under your buttock. So maybe it's some foams, maybe it's a bolster, folded blanket. Adho Mukha Svanasana, dog pose, head down. Step far forward with the right foot. Right foot is going to the left front of the mat. Out to right hip draws back and down as you come, and lower yourself towards the floor. Take your support underneath the right buttock, and now turning to the floor. Your back leg is extending away, and from the inner back thigh out, it's rotating, so that the front of your hips are equally facing towards the floor, and then you lower yourself into Godasana. Of course, you can take the height that's appropriate for you. Some of you may need a lot, some of you only a little. Okay, so this can be very intense. That's why the table version for those with tighter hips is great. But in a class, we don't always have enough ledges, the possibility to give you that support. So if you're in a class and you're very tight, you can also bring higher height under the buttocks, and you can take a height for underneath the elbows, but you can still rest. So the purpose of this is to get that deeper opening through releasing, not just working. The work is getting you into this position and you let go to create the opening. Other side. So, hands to the floor, turn your toes with your back foot, lift your hips up to step back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Change your support to the other side, step far forward, and come into Godasana. Turn. So I don't want this hip to lift, back leg to bend. This is not the pose, and especially not this. This is not doing anything really for the hips. So rather take sufficient support that that foot can stay forward. Bolster under your elbows if you need. Let go. Try not to hunch the back. Extend. Then turn your toes under, hands to the floor, lift the hips. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, we're going to do one last time. So, one thing that you have to watch out for if you have a lot of height is that sometimes if you need more height for the hips, the knee stays away from the floor and you don't want to leave the knee unsupported. So if your knee is away from the floor, you will also take a support for under the knee. So that the buttock is supported, knee supported, and then how you can work the hips. So last time, each side, and this is your chance to take whatever extra support you may need. And if this is too much going onto the floor, then you're going to rather repeat the variation using your table. Céline, le genou, pas le cuisse entière. So support the knee, not the whole thigh. Bouge cette forme un peu plus en avant, brique, voilà, comme ça. That's it. Now, from the beginning, so you can go Nirosha, do it one last time with the support that you need. From the beginning, I said how the straight leg is the important leg. So the back leg has to be straight. So your right leg is bent. Your buttock is supported. Your knee is possibly supported. You are facing the floor. Doesn't matter if you're high up or low down, but both fronts of the pelvis, both sides of the front chest are equally towards the floor. And this is not something that you go into quickly and come out of in a hurry. The benefit of being here is that you're going to stay to let go. Pull that outer right hip back, right buttock back, so that you're turning from your hips, and then let go. Céline, stop wiggling and jiggling. Just be there. So one of the most amazing things about yoga is teaching us how to be in an uncomfortable position and still relax, still find our sense of centeredness, of calm within. Yoga is not about being in a perfect state in the perfect situation. It's how in a challenging situation, in an uncomfortable situation, can you still breathe? Can you still be conscious of choosing your state? Okay, other side. Come onto your hands, turn your toes of your back foot, lift your hips up. So you're coming through Adho Mukha Svanasana. Do a good Adho Mukha for a moment. Move your support so it's ready on the other side. Look to the front of your mat, step far forward with the left foot, walk the left foot across to the right front of the mat. So it's not on its own side of the mat, it's come across. Make sure you have your angle as you come down. angle between your thigh and your shin. I don't mind if it's even a little bit bigger than a right angle. I definitely don't want it smaller. Rotation of your hips. You have the sufficient support under your buttocks, under your knee if necessary, and meet your elbows if necessary, and extend in the front body and go into your capacity forward. If that foot is slipping, it shouldn't be a good sticky mat, but you can even hold the foot with your hand, opposite hand, to keep it from sneaking its way back in towards you, because the body can be sneaky. Okay, let go. Last few moments. Accept, yes, it's uncomfortable, as long as you're not aggressing and overdoing, but that's what your support is there for. Now you can tell your body, you are supported, you're being held, so I'm not going to make you go any further than you are now. Can I let go? With my breath. If you're gripping your jaw, how are you going to relax your hips? If you're gripping your brain, how are you going to relax your body? If you're not breathing, how are you going to let go? So, observe the different parts, not just the part that's suffering the most, but observe the rest of you and see how everything plays its role in creating the optimum state for letting go and for opening the body from inside. So now's a good time for story time. But lucky for you, we've gone way over time already. So turn your toes under, hands to the floor, and come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, dog pose, head down. Step up and back. You can smile, it's allowed. Stretch your arms, stretch your legs, and breathe. Watch your shoulders, Didi. We may have been working on hips. That doesn't mean you do a n'importe quoi. Adho Mukha Svanasana, n'importe quoi means however. Allez, Tracy. Stretch dorsal spine in, and then bend your legs, and Yoga Mudrasana in, Virasana. Big toes together, knees apart, and come the rest forward. Relax your brain again. Come back again to that awareness of the front groins being deep and soft. Relax your jaw, relax your eyes. You can even relax the arms for a moment. Just relax completely. Then inhale, slowly come up. Take your legs up the wall. Unless you have your period, you're going to come and lie in Supta Baddha Konasana. You can take support if you have your bolsters, what you know to do. Remember that, especially since you're wanting to open hips, if you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, you want to support the legs. Bianca, if you're still there, you will sit with your Baddha Konasana with the chair for a moment, opening and resting back a little bit, or your folded blankets. So legs up the wall. If you know Viparita Karani, you have your support, you set yourself up accordingly. Those who don't, you have just a simple folded blanket, rounded edge away from the wall. Sit on one side. So I'm going to change the mat. You're on one side of the mat, and by the time you rolled into the pose, you will have come to the center of the mat. And let go completely. So you stay in whichever position you set yourself up in, and let go. Go with your exhalations. Relax completely. So, with the hip openings, sometimes afterwards you may actually feel tired because all the suppressed fatigue, the fatigue that we don't let ourselves feel, that we push under to keep going, is released in these hip openings. So it can be normal to feel tired afterwards. So this resting now, in your legs up the wall in your Shavasana, you're going to just let this fatigue drop away from your body and allow yourself this resting time. Another thing that can happen, which sounds almost the opposite, is the opposite of feeling tired, is that you can also feel wonderfully light and this energy flowing through the body. Especially if you don't have a backlog of suppressed fatigue. So once the fatigue has had a chance to leave the body, tension has left the body, then with the hips open, energy can circulate through the body. And that energy is also a healing energy. So either way, whether you feel tired after hip openings, feeling energized after hip openings, both are possible and both are good. It's good at least to allow this fatigue to come out. And how wonderful to start to feel that flow of energy through your body that gets created through the practice of yoga. Keep breathing. And then slowly cross your legs against the wall as if you're sitting crossed legs on the wall. Let your legs rest to the wall. Let go again completely, the pelvis, the abdomen. With your exhalations, relaxing deeply, letting go completely. And change across your legs against the wall, stretch them for a moment. You can even rest for a moment with straight legs and then change. And again, let go. Relax your jaw, your eyes, your brain. So from time to time, scanning yourself to see where you need to let go again. Where can you let go further, deeper? And slowly stretch your legs and come and lie in Shavasana. Come and lie flat on your back. If you have any lumbar issues, you can use your chair or a bolster for behind your legs. So that just allows the top buttocks to stay away from the lumbar. So your bolster behind your legs, it's behind your thighs and your knees, not too far away. So it's not the calves and the knees, it's the thighs and the knees. You need a support for under your head. You take it, tailbone buttocks away, make sure that you're warm enough. Make sure that there's no props or other supports in your way, that you're able to spread the back of your body and rest the back of your body into the earth. Then let the front of your body rest over the back of your body. Exhale, let go your whole body. Exhale, let go completely. Dropping into the earth. Sinking deeper and deeper into the earth. Relax the roots of your jaw. Relax your cheekbones. Relax the space between your eyes. Let your eyes sink into the back of your head. Relax your temples. Let your temples deflate. Relax your brain. Front brain rests to the back brain. Let go completely. For one more moment, just let yourself be. And then when you're ready, slowly prepare yourself to come back. Bend your legs one at a time. Don't sit up from your back. Stay resting on the floor with your torso, with your back. Bend your legs when your feet are on the floor. Gently lift the pelvis, the buttocks. Stretch the tailbone, the buttocks away from you. So then one leg at a time, even use your hands, tailbone, buttocks away. Roll onto your right side. Stay on your side for a moment. And then turning towards the floor to come and sit up. And then come and sit, cross your legs, lift your spine, join your hands. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me as always. Please, if you have any questions, send them. I know I didn't stop to ask for questions today. Time always flies when you're having so much fun. But if you have questions, then I'll address them next week. Or if there's anything urgent, obviously I'll get back to you directly. And have a beautiful day and lots of love.